Clerk. Good afternoon. I'm County Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Thank you so much. Stephanie Summerall Dumas, President of the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Vice President Reese.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Driehaus?
Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll go to our first item of business, our Health Commissioner, Greg Kesterman, an update on COVID-19.
Well, good
Welcome.
afternoon, Commissioners. Thanks for having me. Not much change since the last time we met. I will point out that all the data at this point at the state and at the county level are only updated once a week, so much of the pandemic was every day of the week. So some of these numbers are a little bit out of date, but I think they still hold very true today. We are in Hamilton County at about 700 cases of COVID-19 at this point in time, and that number continues to decline, although at a slower rate. Our average cases per day at this snapshot in time, which was last Thursday, is about 31 cases per day. I see a few numbers daily. I suspect that's a little closer to 50, so it upped a little bit, but nothing of concern. The maps for Hamilton County, you can see a couple spots on the map kind of have shown up a little bit darker, a little bit of increases here and there, but once again, nothing major. There are still some remnants of COVID within the community. We kind of saw that as Omicron came down, that there were still some pockets that held on.
Can you identify those pockets?
They are census tract level, so I don't know specifically which census tracts. You can see definitely some are in the city of Cincinnati, and they're kind of spread throughout.
Okay.
Our percent positivity for the region today is at 1.6, and you can continue to see our community is using testing. There's lots of testing resources available throughout Hamilton County. We're seeing about 1,700 tests per day in the county, which is still actually pretty impressive. People are still getting tested when they need to. Today we have about 92 individuals within our hospital systems, 14 in the ICU, and 8 individuals on ventilators. A better view for this, this first one is for hospitalizations. It's kind of zoomed in as opposed to that big entire pandemic look. And while the numbers are still up there, you can continue to see them coming in a downward trajectory for both hospitals and ICU admissions. And finally, with regards to deaths in our community, we have seen that start to trickle off as well. As the number of individuals within the ICU declines, we see less death as a result of COVID-19, which obviously is great news. Looking at the CDC map for percent positivity as well as number per 100,000, we're at 51.5 and 1.8%. So that 51.5 is significant. If we were looking at the old model today, I would be recommending we still continue to wear masks because we're 1.5 individuals per 100,000 over 100,000. But we transitioned to this new map, which looks at additional measures, and Hamilton County, and actually the entire state of Ohio at this point, is green, meaning we are low concern for COVID-19 spread at this time, which is excellent news. And then the last slide I have for you today deals with vaccinations. We continue to see work with vaccinations. Last week, the CDC and FDA approved a 4th booster for those individuals over the age of 50 that had received their Pfizer or Moderna 4 months earlier. In addition, anyone over the age of 12 with medium to severe immunocompromisation may get their 2nd booster as well. So that actually has helped our clinics. We've started to see a little bit of a spike, nothing major, but we're happy to be able to get vaccines out into the community. And then for folks who are looking for a spot to get a vaccine, a booster, or a first dose, we would encourage you to go to testandprotectcincy.com. That is all I have prepared, but happy to take any questions either of you may have.
Thank you so much. I noticed that Grant County is medium on the community levels. Any assumptions that you can
No,
make?
and ironically, since the CDC rolled out their new map, all 3 of the northern Kentucky counties that are tracked were medium, and so that is the only county that is left over and still a little bit elevated.
Okay. Can you speak, Commissioner, to the variant that we're hearing about?
So we believe it's here in our country, and we believe it's making its way throughout the community. When talking to doctors and others that are studying the variant, it seems that it's not causing severe illness. It seems that because much of our county had Omicron or has been vaccinated, the likelihood that it causes severe problems here is fairly low. That's me trying to look into the crystal ball, and so there's really no way of guaranteeing anything, but that's our hope at this time.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Thank you. Thank you for the update, as always. So if someone were to be looking for that booster, someone, an elderly person perhaps, so you're not at the Board of Elections at the moment, or
We
you?
are.
Oh,
You
you
can
are?
actually come out and vote at the same time as you get your vaccine. We're in the same space as the early voting.
Oh, nice.
And
All
then we
right.
have additional locations in the community, and you would find those on our website.
Okay, so is the BOE Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday, I believe 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. are our hours.
Okay, all right. Well, it's been so confusing related to the voting, Commissioner. We have lost track, so thank you for that information.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and I saw your signage when I went this morning, so for everyone who's watching, early voting started today, so get out and vote. So thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Okay, we'll move on to item number 2. It's a resolution to reject bids received for Finley Market Garage bid package number 3. And Phil Beck is here to speak. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Good
Uh-huh.
afternoon, Commissioners. Unfortunately, we did this once already for the Banks project, and here we are with Finley Market. Actually, for other reasons, Finley Markets, sorry, I have a frog in my throat. Excuse me. By the way, Phil Beck, Hamilton County Construction Executive. Finley Market, the bids came in over the 10% engineer's estimate. When we started digging into that, it was for actually reasons, yeah. Thank you.
You're gonna get in his glass.
I was fine until
You're
2
nervous.
seconds ago.
You're just nervous.
I am,
It's okay.
shaking like a leaf.
Yes.
Oh, I hate delivering bad news. But I don't know where to start. The material price, the labor prices, from what we are hearing, are pretty stable. It's material prices, and what was high a couple months ago on the banks is not really the issue on Finley Market. This is things like, as an example, we're on a garage environment, you're open air, and, thank you very much. And Joe Feldkamp likes to throw salt down in the winter, and salt is not good for the reinforcing inside the concrete. So eventually that salt, will migrate through the concrete and could corrode the rebar. So you can address that a couple different ways. You can use epoxy-coated rebar, which we use on the highways all the time. That is typically an expensive solution. Or another way is you can throw an additive into the concrete that, and use regular rebar, and this additive in the concrete will help stop that seepage, if you will, through the concrete, make it maybe less porous. All of a sudden, that additive cost is through the roof. It's actually potentially, and this is what we're digging into as we speak, but potentially less expensive to use the epoxy-coated rebar. It's crazy. And speaking of that, even just plain rebar and the post-tensioning rods, the steel that we use to post-tension the structure, those typically mundane items are sky high cost-wise right now. So we are, I think we've crested through the due diligence period. We've circled as a team a few times now, both our construction manager, Skanska, as well as our THP, our designer. I think and our estimator they spent all last week working through this, finding out where the highs and the lows were. So we're coming up with the game plan moving forward. We can't really do anything until these bids are rejected first per Ohio Revised Code, and then we can go ahead and proceed with Chapter 2, if you will. One thing we're cognizant of is the schedule of the project. Things have generally gone well up to this point. We finished the utility relocation, which was our first bid package. Finished that about a month ago, complete, and we're able to close Logan Street. The city provided the permit. The city and county are currently closing on that property as we speak. So the street was closed, the street is now gone, and we mobilized bid package 2, which is our deep foundation work. So they've been working about a week and a half. They probably have about 3 weeks left for the deep foundation, doing about 8 piles a day, and we got 188 total. So we should be wrapped up in approximately 3 weeks. So what we're looking at is timing. What we're trying to do with this bid package that we're proposed to be rejected today is everything else. But now, I think what we're going to do is the cast-in-place concrete, there's not a lot of unknowns with that. I mean, it is what it is, as I say. There's not a lot of value engineering opportunities with that. So we're considering breaking that scope out and rebidding it as early as next Wednesday and get bids in. I mean, the drawings really won't change at all. So we can expedite that bid process to get that, knock on wood, awarded as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the team can really dig into the details of the rest of the project and look at, where we're high, is there any scope that we could potentially postpone or redirect somehow? For example, the retail space, do we need to fit that out now, or could we do that later, maybe when prices settle down, or have the tenants potentially take that scope on? So we got to kind of vet through all that, but then also the materials on the facade. We don't want to change the look of the project, but, are there options, a particular material, could we substitute a different material that would give us the same look and might be more cost-effective? So going through all that.
Okay. Thank you so much. So to meet the demand of the material increase, I'm assuming that of course, our engineer's estimate is going to go up. We're going to go up to meet the demand of the increase of the materials. How much more do you think that engineer's estimate will go up? Oh, you're smiling, yeah.
It could, collectively, so we're looking at doing a couple different bid packages, but collectively, this could be trending a couple million higher. Magnitude 2 million out of 20 million,
Okay.
just to give you a rough order of magnitude.
Okay. I'm not going to hold you to it. I just was wondering what it might
Yeah,
be.
and that's where a lot of the strategy comes in, because you don't want to overinflate
Sure.
your price. You want it to
Right.
be, you think it's a real price, but then we also have to make sure we don't end up in this situation again.
Again, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Dreehouse.
Thank you. So the bids all came in over 10%.
Yes.
How much over 10%? I mean, this is
About
the dollar amount, but is there a percentage over that you?
approximately 20%.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this one, we're super excited about getting this one online, not only because it will serve the community well, but it's also going to make money for the county.
Right.
So, yeah, I've got some anxiety about the delay on this one. But, so did I hear you say then the strategy will be to bid the concrete out, because there's not a lot of flexibility there, to get that
Correct.
rolling? That would be the next thing to go anyway?
Yes.
Okay, and
That's
then,
correct.
then reconfigure the rest of the bid and then get it out as quickly as we can.
Yeah, so we go ahead and build the concrete structure and then rebid what we bolt onto that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
and that way we minimize any potential delay.
yeah, okay. Okay, very good, well, thank you. I regret that we're going to have to reject this one, but it sounds like we're, by law, we have to reject this one, so that's what we'll do.
Thank you. So thank you so much. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 2, the resolution to reject the bids received for Philly Market Garage.
Second?
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Phil.
So we have before us 3 executive sessions. I'm going to make a motion to approve the executive sessions. I'll read each one. Item 3 is executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G4, to discuss collective bargaining agreement And item 4, executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G to discuss fact finders report. And item 5, executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G4 to discuss collective bargaining.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We will go into executive session.